All right, thank you for keeping faith with us on Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We've still been bringing you discussions centering around something that came out yesterday in the polity in Osun State. The Elisha Water Project is in the news. And we've spoken to chieftain of the People's Democratic Party. Now we're joined live on the show via Zoom by engineer Tawa Williams, who is a consultant in charge of that Elisha Water Project. Good morning, Engineer Williams.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
You're welcome.
All right, so let's get straight to business now. I would like to begin from some of the things that were said by the spokesperson of Governor Ademola Adeleke. I would like to start with, before going to the project itself now, you are set to be in possession of a car valued at 70 million naira. How do you respond to that?
I'm not aware that I have a bulletproof car. My car didn't cost 70 million naira. I have an ordinary Jeep. And that is what I use. That's the only car I'm using.
Was that a car given to you by the government as per your role?
Yes, that's given by the project to me.
Okay, so you're saying that figure and that statement is wrong? Is that what you're saying?
Very, very wrong. At the time the car was maybe about 45 million or something.
Oh, okay.
And it's a Jeep, and I need a Jeep to do the work.
Okay, so 45 million is where we should peg the figure at, not 70 million.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Now let's go to the project itself now. According to the statement released by the government, so far 10 billion naira has been spent on that project, and the government is saying that there's nothing to show for it. What is the state of the Elisha Water Project as we speak?
Now, the government that is saying that there is nothing to show for it, the first question I want to ask them is that have they gone to the site to see the volume of work done? Have they listened to us? I only attended a briefing by Access Committee, and they were asking me questions that are not related to the project. The report we gave to them on the project, they did not study it. They did not look at it. They have not gone to the site. I have not met the governor, and therefore I don't know who gave them, who told them that the 10 billion has no value. This job we have done, the Islamic Development Bank has come to Nigeria to inspect it. They credited us. The Federal Ministry of Water Resources, that as the custodian of the money, are working with us. They have come to inspect. The Accountant General of the Federation Department have come to inspect the job. The auditors in the Federal Ministry of Water Resources, they have come. Everybody have come to inspect the job, and they have given us credit for the value of work and the volume we have done. So I don't know where they got their information from. The people of Elisha are witness to the job. Our job cannot be done in secret. It is an open secret. All the market women, everybody, they were part of it. We were having stakeholders meeting. It was not a secret. So I don't know where they got their information from.
So can you give us an idea of the figures? Now, we would like to break it down into figures. The government has given it its own side of the story, saying that the total loan is $106 million, and so far 10 billion naira and $28 million have been expended on that project. Can you give us a breakdown of the loans? Who did you get it from? How much did they amount to, and how much has been expended?
From the Islamic Development Bank, we got $65 million. From the federal government, we got $41.9 million grants. This was given in lieu of the fact that the state government could not provide their own counterpart funding. So the federal government gave us a grant of $41.9 million.
That will not be paid back? It's just a grant?
It's a grant.
So the state
because
is not,
the federal government took Elisha project as their legacy project.
So the government, state government, the Osun State government will not be paying back $41.9 million.
Yes, that $41.9 million was not given to us directly.
Okay.
It was dominated in the central bank, and the Federal Ministry of Water Resources was put in charge of expending the money. So at the time the money went to the central bank, they told us that it was 12.8 billion naira.
All right, go ahead, ma'am.
So for the IDB $65 million, we have components for the project. The major component is the water treatment plant that is located in Kajola. Then we have 32 kilometers of various diameters of pipe from Kajola through the booster station to the 3 major tanks in Elisha. That is the second contract. The third contract is the construction of the 3 10,000 cubic meter capacity concrete tanks located upon the hills. And then we have the issue of the construction of the Water Corporation headquarters building, which is near the science school in Osogbo. Those are the major contracts for the IDB loan. Of course, we have the financial audit contract, and then we have the consultancy, design and review supervision contract. They are supposed to do the design review and do the construction and supervision of the project. So far, out of the 32 kilometers of pipe we are supposed to lay, the transmission mains, we have laid 34, because in avoiding people's houses and going through the road, we have incurred additional 2 kilometers of pipe. And everything has been laid. The booster station has been completed. The only work that the contractor needs to do in this, when they come in after the holiday, is the electrical installation for the booster station. That one is totally 95% completed. Then the tank, all the 3 tanks are completed. We have been putting water into them to test run them. The only remaining thing to do with the tank is that we added additional sealed tank, because one of the tank, the hill was so low, there were other houses above the hill. So for them to be able to benefit from the water, we have to introduce a small sealed tank of about 25 meter height. That one is the only thing we need to construct, and that is because we are relocating the person whose house is adjacent to the site. The work was supposed to start in January. The institutional strengthening and capacity building of the Water Corporation has been completed by a consultant from Uganda. The headquarters building is about 50% completed, and the major problem we have with that contract is that the contract was awarded in Naira, and we had the problem of the COVID, the devaluation of the Naira, the inflation, and so the contractor is waiting on us to do something about inflation and increase in the cost of construction. That is why we are slow at that. The only major problem we have is the treatment plant. We found that the contractor, the treatment plant is supposed to be designed, construct, and operate. But for almost 2.5 years, the contractor could not give us a design. And there was a lot of problem between the contractor and the consultant.
Were there plans made to replace that particular consultant, seeing as he was defaulting at the moment?
No. what we did, the consultant had their own problem, which I will explain later. After having tried all we needed to do, we recommended to the bank, and the bank terminated the contract for the award. And we have put in place system and procedure to rebid for that contract and re-award the contract. But the contractor took us to court. But the court case is not delaying the rebidding and everything. But that is a question for another day. The consultants, they have their own different problems. The bidding, they were all international bidding. So everybody in the world who is a member of IDB contributory board, every country has the right to bid. So the consultant on the job was from Iran. And towards the end of their first contract, IDB could not send that, exactly to be exact, February last year, we made a payment for them. IDB could not pay the money. The money was going to Iran and it was coming back because of the issue they have with America. And they couldn't pay that money. So for a long time, in fact, up till a week ago, they couldn't pay the money. So we were advised not to renew the contract of the consultant because their contract expired. We were supposed to renew it. So we were advised not to renew their contract. But we picked another Nigerian consultant who has been working with them on the project, and we were set to go. All the other components of the IDB has been almost completed so far, except for the treatment plants. And the treatment plant, by procedure, is supposed to be 2 years. It's supposed to be a 2-year contract. So we were able to get an extension of time from the bank to the end of year 2024.
That's when that treatment plant will be ready.
Yes, if you commence the procedure this in January.
Okay, so before you continue, I'd just like you to, go take a little bit back, some steps backward. Now, you've given us the figure of how much you've received, how much the loans and the grant, and how much has been spent and how much is left.
In the loan, we have spent $32 million. And we have $32,165,832 more to spend.
But let me speak to that figure now. From the statement that the government released yesterday, says a total of $27 million has been expended from the IDB loan of $65 million, leaving a balance of the sum of $37.926 million.
I am giving you an updated figure.
Okay.
This figure I'm giving you is as of December. We have spent $32,834,167 million.
And did you you said you had a meeting with them? Did you present this updated figures to them?
I have sent it. I have sent it forward. I prepared this report I'm giving to you on the 26th of December, and I have sent it to the budget coordinator to present it to them.
Okay. So now let's look at another part of that statement, and it's the fact that you've been suspended, as it were, and the project coordinator with immediate effect. And so now there's the issue of the auctioning of the various water pipes across the state and the revenue which accrued therefrom. What pipes were auctioned?
The pipe across Elisha, not across the state. I am not in charge of the state. I'm in charge of the Elisha project. The pipe across Elisha, we have laid, in fact, the contractors have finished the work they have done. We have laid over 560 kilometers of pipe all around Elisha. pressure tested. Even the house connection has been done. It is only for us to link to the houses when the water is available.
And so when was the water supposed to be available, ideally?
It is available in year 2024. That's what the treatment plant will bring the water.
All right. So about 2 years ago, 2020 or thereabout, you led a team to visit some of these water sites. That team comprised some members of the State House of Assembly. What changed?
Yes.
What has changed from 2020 and 2022? And in light of these allegations of no progress yet, how do you respond to that?
Well, I don't know how to respond to that because I kept asking them, what has changed? Between that time that they went and they credited us, the bank has come and they were amazed about the standards and the quality and the quantity of work we did. What has changed, I don't know. But there was some demand on us, and we cannot meet those demands.
What were those demands, and who made them to you?
Well, the house they are making their own demands.
And what were the demands? What did they ask you to do? Because I remember clearly, because I was a member of that team at the time. I was on that team that went to some places in Elisha to inspect.
Thank you very much. That was the question I was asking them.
Yes, to inspect
what has
this
changed
project
between that time and now?
And then you know there were also promises made that day about some of the facilities. So what other demands were now made from you, you know, after that moment by the house?
Well, the house is asking for $5 million. And I said, I don't have $5 million to give to anybody.
$5 million. So I'd like you to be very clear. The house asked you for $5 million to do what?
Yes, they asked me for $5 million. And I said, I don't have $5 million to give to nobody.
Was it for the water project or for something else differently? What was the money supposed to do?
For themselves, they're asking for takeaway grants. And they are saying that they will go to the press and say that the quality of work we have done is not good and this and that. And I told them, 1 year ago, you were on the site. You were commending us. Now you will go back to the press and say that we have not done well. What will be your reason? For
the sake of our viewers and for clarity purpose, you are saying now that the House of Assembly demanded a $5 million bribe from you, otherwise they would blackmail you to the press and say that the quality of work done is wrong?
Yes.
Okay. Now
I am saying it from all sense of responsibility.
This did it come from the house as a whole or some individuals? Was the speaker involved? Can you name names?
Not from the house on the whole. The chairman of the house committee on water supply and some of the committee, they called us. I was not alone. They called us to the meeting, and they were saying that we didn't give them money. And I said, I don't have money to give to them. The money I have is to do the job.
Did you make this allegation known to the government of the day at the time?
The government has just left. The new one just came in. No, we have not even met the new one.
Oyetola was in power, I suppose, when that demand was made. Did you report to him?
No, Oyetola has just left, as I said. Oyetola has just left. The new one just came in.
Okay.
And they called us to the House of Assembly.
Here in
fact, the letter they wrote to us, they are saying that we should come and meet the whole house. But when we got there, we didn't see the whole house. We met a few people with the chairman of the house committee. In fact, after I have told them that we don't have money, they called all the contractors to come and discuss with them.
Do you have a date for this? When did it happen? Do you have a letter to that effect? What letter? What date was it?
We have a letter, but it's not here with me. I'm in Lagos.
Okay.
We have a letter to that effect.
All right. If you can avail us that letter, it will be very, very nice. But you've just said the chairman of the House Committee on Water Resources and Sanitation was part of those who asked you for that $5 million bribe.
Yes.
All right, so I really want us to move away from that, but you are making allegations of blackmail now. That if you're not parting out with that money, you will be blackmailed, and say that the job you've done
Yes,
is wrong.
they were posting
Oh,
that they
okay.
will go to the press. They will tell them that we have not done a good job. They were even posting that they will go to site and disrupt what we have done.
Mm. Now, those are some strong allegations. Now, the persons who made this, were they on that team that followed you in 2020? Do you recognize them? Were they part of that team?
Yeah, they were part of the team. They were part of it. They were all part of it.
Okay.
They were all part of it.
All right, we'll move away from that. Now, the government of the day, the Adeleke government, is saying that some of the money they were diverted. Okay, they want to ensure that it was not diverted to private pockets. Do you have all the records and figures for the
We
monies you've
have all
received?
the records. We are very transparent. We follow due process. Everything we did, we normally will advertise in 3 Nigerian newspapers that will cover both the north, the east, and the west, and then in international paper and the IDB newsletter we advertise. We do our opening of bids with a procurement department, members of the procurement department, the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of Finance, and the PIU. We open the bid together with the consultants, and we set up committee that we do private evaluation. The consultants will do the evaluation on their own. We will do the evaluation on our own, and then we come back to the table. We bring everything together, we look at it, we clear all the gray areas, and once we are on the same page, we usually inform the government and then send our report to the Islamic Development Bank through the Federal Ministry of Finance.
All right, so
we have all our records.
Before we let you go, we still have quite a number of things to discuss, but let me just ask you on a lighter note, because I see that you're getting a little bit worked up. When will you be returning the vehicle in your possession? When will you be returning the 45 million naira vehicle that is now said to be 70 million naira?
As long as I am still on the project, I have not got a letter. All I have had is news from everywhere. When I get the letter to tell me that they are even talking of suspension, no, they are not talking that they remove me, because I believe they are still going to do a probe, and I will be cleared. And so I still have to do the project. So the car is not an issue for me. I have only one. I don't. It's not an issue.
Okay, so yes, now the state executive, that's the governor now, has found that large-scale corruption reflected in the. I'm reading out the statement now. Reflected in the handling of the loans and of the project. He said that action has denied people of Elisha an environs of drinkable water. Now I'm wondering. I'm sure our viewers are wondering. If you say you've met. If you've been invited and you've explained to them, what reason do you have? Can you put forward for them making this statement using the word denied the people of Elisha of what?
Actually, yes. Actually, I have not met any committee except the Access Recovery Committee. That was the only one I attended, and I never knew that they were going to talk about our project, because our project is not yet an asset. So I went with another idea. So when we got there, they tried to make me comfortable and everything, and I did that. And they asked me about going on in the water corporation, and I said, I am using the water corporation as an office, but I am not in charge of the water corporation. I am in charge of the Elisha Water Project. And the next thing they said was that, how can you be a consultant and something is going on under your nose and you will say you don't know? It's not in my purview, it's not in my responsibility, and therefore I don't know what is going on. So all I know, if you ask about the project, I will tell you about the project, and that was when they said we will relieve you of your consultancy post. I said, well, that is not
Oh, you were told at that meeting that you'll be relieved?
Yeah, they told me, they said, we will relieve you of your consultancy. I said, it's not an issue. So...
And that was because you could not provide information that they needed? Because now there seem to be two things. You're talking about the water project, which you said is not yet an asset and is still ongoing. Is that why you could not provide the information they were seeking?
No, I did. I tried to do that when they were, although we didn't go like that, but we took one copy of our report with them. So when we found that they were talking about the project, I tried to explain to them. But the information they have had from outside did not allow them to listen to us. That is what I found out. They have had a lot of, for instance, they asked me, they said they had that we have $10 million in our hand. I said, that's an understatement. We have $32 million, but it's not with us. It's in Jeddah. They didn't give us money. They paid contractors directly. And I gave them the report. I said, this is my report. That report where they are putting all the money, I gave it to them. I said, I didn't know I am coming to defend the project. I thought it was an assets committee I was coming to. Anyway, this is the report that we have.
All right, so
I told them, I said,
oh, finish up.
The $10 million is not with us. The $10 million, we have more than that. We have 32 because the money of the treatment plant is still there.
So you gave the expenditure and balance of the IDB loan rather. What about the federal government grant? How much is remaining from the $41.94 million?
The $41.94 million came to $12.8 billion. Out of which we have spent $10 billion.
Okay. So you have a balance of 2 billion naira?
Pardon?
So you have a balance of 2 billion naira, haven't spent 10 billion?
Yes. That is 1.939.
Okay. So
my audited report, 1.939.
Okay. So you've tried to explain yourself a little, but I'd just like you to tell us again, what were some of those hindrances that have forestalled the delivery of the project as and when due?
Yes, thank you. You know, the issue of COVID was a 2-year affair. The issue of COVID came in. The issue of, for instance, the tank, we had to redesign the tank because of the nature of the soil. When we started excavating the hill, we found that we cannot put those tanks on the hill like that. We had to go down further than expected. And we have to build up the foundation from a very low level to be able to take the tank. So that took some time. The issue of COVID was there. Then, of course, the procedure itself, we have to go from us to the Federal Ministry of Finance, from Finance to IDB. So they all have their own challenges, both the IDB, the Finance, and everything. So everything accumulated into delay.
Okay, so before we let you go now, because of our time, I'd just like to ask you, or take you back a little bit now. Apart from the House of Assembly, has anyone else also approached you with some sort of blackmail or trying to ask you to part away with some money?
No. This government, I have not met the governor. I have only met the assets committee, and nobody has asked me for anything. I was surprised.
All right, we'd like to leave it at that this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Engineer Tawa Williams is the consultant in charge of the Elisha Water Project, and just yesterday, the government of Osun State suspended her and a team and asked that she returns the vehicle in her possession, and also, of course, provide details on the project itself. I would like to thank you for joining us on the program this morning, Engineer Williams.
Thank you very much.